Have we saved the best till last? Sorry, Mark.
Just.
Just to say to the REBA team and all the sponsors, I think it's been a great event, and quality and quantity, I think. So thank you very much as well. So a bit of a case study, communicating, engaging and retaining a diverse global workforce. Bit of an IHG case study, bit of a mouthful. Before I get into that, I'm just going to quickly do one slide introducing IHG. So I'm part of Intercontinental Hotels Group. So you can see the brands here, bit of advertising as well. Holiday Inn, Intercontinental, Crown Plaza and so on and so on. We're actually one of two things. So you can see we are a listed FTSE 100 organisation. We've got over 5,000 hotels. We went over the 5,000 barrier this month as well. But we only manage 700 of them. So 4,300-ish are franchised. So hence, we're a hospitality company, yes, big time, but we're also a brand. And that is a key to our success as well. Comp and Ben function, we're a global function. We've got over 100 countries that we cover. We've got corporate employees, reservations, and obviously the hotel lines of business. So IHG, we've got these values called winning ways, work collaboratively, drive results, you know, the usual suspects. One of them is brand-hearted, be brand-hearted. So one of being brand-hearted for me being here is, you know, I think I first thought, what can I do to optimise what I'm going to say to you? But that's not the mindset. The mindset is, what am I going to optimise to give you what you want to hear? So I've gone slightly a bit of the tangent. So if you look at the spec of the presentation agenda, I've gone slightly a bit on the tangent. So if you want a refund, go to Debbie as well. But hopefully the stuff that came out of the last couple of months was quite compelling. I wanted to share with you. As I say, we're a global company, so we've got sort of four main head offices, four regions, four main head offices, Atlanta to Shanghai. We've also got a shared service team, a Comp and Ben shared services team in Manila that do a lot of the analytical stuff as well. So first point I want to make is, whatever you want to do, and certainly from a global sense of view, whatever you want to do, don't work in silos, because you will never, ever achieve the full maximum of your potential. So we, as a global function from a Comp and Ben point of view, work very closely together. We speak together at least once a week, sometimes more. It's normally at 12 o'clock UK time. So in Atlanta, it's 7 a.m. in the morning, so they're coming out of bed. Here, this side, Shanghai, it's about 8 p.m. at the moment as well, and we're at midday. So they're complaining it's too early, they're complaining it's too late, and we're saying, hold on a minute, this is the entire lunch hour. So don't work in silos. So you've got to work together, you know. And even if you're a national UK organisation, you're going to have, and not just Comp and Ben, you've got to work with the HR, you've got to work with the business. Let's flick through all this. This topic about global versus local, but we have got a global reward philosophy, we've got a global reward strategy, and looking at some of the elements of total rewards, we've got a lot of frameworks as well. So when it comes to things like base salaries, we've got a global philosophy which we adhere to in all locations, but we obviously use local sort of salary surveys to benchmark to make sure we're market competitive. Bonuses, short-term incentives, we have got a global framework with some slight regional value, but we've got a global framework. So all the bonus schemes will feel exactly the same wherever you are in the globe. Long-term incentive plan, they're a global plan. Benefits are very local, country to country, because that's the way for us to work. It works differently in Dubai to Singapore and so on as well. And we've got about 500 expats in the business, and we've got a global team that manage that as well. So in terms of the takeaway for you is, we have a global philosophy, we work together. If you look at the top three items in terms of that globalization, is a lot of the documents are global, but sometimes they're global templates, and we allow a little bit of regionalization. So some of the templates that just wouldn't work in India, for example. So here's a global template. we can sort of make it fit for purpose, say for a certain location like India as well. This is where it's just very local. So all our benefit practices are very local, and we sort of deliver them on a local basis. Oh, gone back too far. So I think there's a term: if you can't measure, you can't manage, and we do a lot of measuring. So we run an engagement survey twice a year. Our comp and ben questions are normally of April each year, hence it's all April. We've got two questions when it comes to comp and ben. So these are the results for the question, I get paid fairly for my job. So we've got around about sort of 20,000 people that participate. Our participation rate is about 97% plus, I think, as well. So this is a question about I get paid fairly for my job. So you can see the sort of industry norm for that. Our providers a service industry norm, high performance. We're doing pretty well. But that is not the most important point of view most important metric as far as we're concerned. It's actually year-on-year differences as well. So if you've got one manager that's got an engagement score of 70, one's got 60, if that 70 was last year 90, he's going to get beaten up. If that 60 was last year 15, he might get a pat on the back as well. So all of our managers under the performance management process, they get a scorecard, and engagement is going to be one of the standard metrics in that scorecard as well. So they will be measured in terms of year-on-year differentials, well, not absolute, but trying to boost those engagement scores. Similarly to benefits, so we ask, the benefits I'm offered are good or better than other companies in the industry. So we feel we've got a healthy set of results, but it's the be all and end all is the strategy is driving those results higher and higher as well. One of my favourites is I love regression analysis, and I showed this to my HR business partners, and the feedback they gave me is that I need to get out more. So this is why I sort of changed the stance slightly last few weeks as well. We've got some really interesting analysis in terms of how are those two questions, those engagement scores, compared to the overall engagement as well. So if you've got a completely engaged team, you're at 100%, and then that's perception about I get paid fairly for my job. So we were from a comp and ben team. We were quite pleased with this. So you can see as you correlate those questions on pay versus overall engagement for each team, we got a nice little line, coefficients 0.45, and thought, wow, there is a correlation between being paid fairly and overall engagement. And similarly with benefits as well. So if you've got a really good perception of your benefits, the greater perception in terms of your benefits, the greater the overall engagement. Now, it's not the whole story, because engagement and total reward concept goes into much bigger things. But as a stat, we were really encouraged in terms of our in terms of that relationship that we as a comp and ben function, based on those results internally IHG, if we start building on those results and getting them up, we can make a difference and show evidence to the business. But as I said, the score is it's important, but we want to generate a higher score next year. We want to improve those scores. That's the strategy of those engagement surveys. So after the April results, there is a process where each manager will get their scorecard, and they'll get a set of tools in terms of action planning. They will get, each scorecard will have 3 action plans, and it may include benefits, it may include pay, it may include anything on leadership, on whatever. So there will be engagement scores based on a variety of things, which would include those 2 questions as well. So they are tasked, and then they've got to show sort of evidence when it comes to the performance management process as well. What did you do to boost your engagement to make sure you get a rating as well? We give them the tools to make sure that they've done their action planning, they sit down, they're going over their away days, team meetings, whatever, to make sure that engagement is in the forefront of all their day-to-day activities as well. So we give them the tools in terms of making sure that that they increase their engagement scores. Actually, we give them three that are development areas, 3 that are absolutely world class as well. We give them the top 3 and the bottom 3 as well. But the bottom 3 are the ones where they need to develop their action plans as well. This is a bit where we're building as well. So in terms of helping them, they've got some action planning. This is actually still work in progress. We're also building a benefits or reward branding as well. So you can see hotels, you can see the sort of things you hang on as well. So we're going to 2016 give them some more tools, so you can see the sort of benefit brands in terms of whatever the item is. We'll give them a little bit of branding as well. So that's one thing that, in terms of helping them with their communication, we'll be building this into the action planning tools as well. I'll give you the answer. Well, at least it's going to be the IHG answer in terms of, what it takes to win. Okay, so here's the answer. I told you I saved the best till last. Okay. So where you had the action planning, where pay, and in particular actually benefits, this is actually benefits, where benefits was in the bottom 3, and they had to do some action planning. And obviously this doesn't go to micro level. I mean, you wouldn't have a department in the hotel, you'd actually have the hotel as a whole. So it's not actually sort of for a specific department or manager. This is probably more of a hotel. But where the benefits question came in their action planning, and they had to do some action planning based on benefits. Last year we had 101 hotels where that question featured in their action planning. Actually, sorry, I'm going to go tell a lie. It was probably 20 the year before, because we got the results. So the year before that, so we're talking 2014, 101 hotels had that benefits question in their action planning. You've got to get off your backside and you've got to do something, because you won't get your bonus otherwise. Of those 101 hotels that had that item in their action planning, when we measured it April 2015, their engagement scores went up 14 points. So we love that stat in our Comp and Ben team as well. So if you actually do something about it in terms of action planning, sort of that communication, that fed into your overall engagement. So we loved that. So hence I sort of went off tangent, because I thought, oh, this is really good stuff to share with everyone as well. So that's the answer. The answer is actually communication and doing it as well. Some challenges. For 2016, it might be too late for some of you. Some of this, if you're going to do what you want to do, you should have done in 2015. Why am I saying that? You're going to need the budget as well. So we're building on a branding budget, as you know. So we needed to get a budget for that. So you need to sort of go to the senior leadership team, build a business case, because it's all about sort of getting a budget, getting a plan, in particular a comms plan, and making sure that you actually physically do something. You've got to resource it as well. So from a Comp and Ben point of view, one thing we don't do, I personally feel we don't do very well, is actually resource us. And we have this list of KPIs, and reward comms sort of fits in the nice to do as well. So all of our KPIs, we're building our key performance objectives for our performance management from our section, is every single one of us will have an objective this year that will cover reward communications. And that will be a standard practice for all of us as a function as well. And all our key offices, we're building reward calendars as well. So this, you need to make sure that you plan it. And I know there's some companies that even have a person sitting under reward communications in a function. We would love that. We're not that blessed at the moment as well. But you need to get the money to do it as well. You physically need to have the resource to do it as well. So hence, we've did a part of 2015 in terms of our planning. we're now sort of geared up for 2016 as well. Challenge is actually a very small business unit, so we'll have an office in Milan, 6 people. Remote workers also is a challenge, is trying to reach out to them. They normally get shortchanged in terms of reaching out to them. I think they might get shortchanged a little bit still, because the biggest bang for our bucks would be our offices in London, offices in Atlanta as well. But we're conscious that we need to try and reach out to them as best we can, but it's difficult to do it in the same way as someone in a main head office as well. And it's got to be part of a total reward approach as well. So we're not just fixing it in benefits. So we've put together 2016, which I'm part of the Comp and Ben person, a sort of panel of people that would include talent, resourcing, learning and development as well. So this reward communications piece of work that's sitting in 2016, we'll have a panel that's Comp and Ben, but we'll have one that sits under the HR panel as well. So make sure that when you start communicating things, we align and be part of an integrated HR approach as well. So an example of how we work well together would be the pay review as well. So we work very closely with the performance management department to make sure that when we do the pay review, because your increases are linked to your overall ratings, we need to make sure that when we roll that out and communicate that, we work with them. So we want to make sure that, yes, we've got a little group in terms of the Comp and Ben team, but we're going to set up a broader team that sits as part of an integrated HR approach as well. We've got some more stats here. I've pinched them from the internet. So we've got, this is the Benefex survey. So obviously I think this one says the more channels that you use, the more effective the take-up rate. So if you use just one channel, it's 15%, 2 channels, 23%. If you use 4 channels, 52.5, which I think, yeah, it makes sense. That's obvious as well. But if you're going to use more channels, it's part of your comms plan is you maybe need more budget, maybe need more resource. If you take that multi-channel route as well. So hence, think about when you do the planning, get the money, get the budget. Otherwise, you won't get to this little bit as well. The last one's CIPD. 70% of respondents think organisations do not invest enough time in communicating and explaining its rewards packages. That's a horrible statistic, but I think that's probably right. So I've whittled through this. People want to get home early, don't they? How's that?